Through storms, unshaken, unbowed. Through trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it loud. Changing the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key. Make the big switch. Power to the people. Time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him. He's moving on. With plans so bold, from dusk till dawn. He's rewriting the rules. A new dawn's day. From the hands of the few to the people's way. Say goodbye to all chains, embrace the new. A financial revolution, fair and true. For the workers, the dreamers, side by side. In Trump's new era, let freedom rise. Changing.
Welcome, everyone, to the Crazy Cryptonaut channel. I am Zester, and I hope everyone is having an awesome start to their Monday morning. And yes, I know for many out there have been following along with the memorial services this morning, can absolutely say Charlie Kirk is going to have a disproportionately larger influence on the world now than he ever would have before. But still, really wishing we could be hearing from him and having him talk about this. I think the country needs it. But we're going to talk about cryptocurrency and everything else. Answer some questions today. Will be a little bit of a shorter stream, and so probably somewhere around 35 minute mark, somewhere right around there. But we're going to be answering all the questions that I possibly can, and going over a little bit of what's going on in the crypto space. The news, well, the news is negative, but there's also not a lot of it. And so that's the reason we're going for a shorter one today, more question and answer. We will, of course, cover what's currently going on, but we really don't have so many details, and all honesty, on this one. It seems like we're watching some whale games get played, but we'll jump into that one after I say good morning and hello to everybody. What's up, Mile High Trish? Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Mile High Trish, new profile picture. Did I not notice that last time, or what am I missing, Mile High Trish? Do you have a new, you got a new puppy? Oh, wrong account. My bad there, Mile High Trish. Good morning, Kukla. Good morning. Kukla, beautiful memorial service for Charlie Kirk. Watch the entire event. Absolutely. Hey, good morning. Happy Monday, Musical Lady. Musical Lady made the number 2 spot on the like button today. Much appreciated, Musical Lady. Good morning, Crypto Warden. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning. Good day. A good day. I'm new to crypto. What's the best / easiest wallet to use? Good day. That's a great question. If you're new to crypto, I'm actually going to kind of send you off on a little bit of a different journey first. And so good day. You're new to crypto. Welcome. It seems far more intimidating at first than it really is. Please remember this stream. Come back here, ask questions, because you're going to have them. It's going to happen. And there really aren't any silly questions. And so don't feel that way. But for your first start getting into cryptocurrency, good day. The first thing that you need to go ahead and start looking into is a centralized exchange. In all honesty, you need to figure out where you're buying crypto before you go worrying about where you're storing crypto. Now, I guess the chicken and an egg type argument, they're both important. They're both going to be a part of the process. Good day. But in terms of something that you can very easily get started on that's going to be helpful, go and start setting up a Coinbase account. Now, make certain whenever you're going to an exchange that you ensure you're at the right website domain, you're using the right app if you're on the phone and you're in the application store or whatever. But your first thing would be to get an exchange account. And so, good day. The reason you want this is because that's how you get your money from fiat into crypto and from crypto into fiat. And so That's going to be your most effective way. You're going to get your best bang for the buck when you're making your purchases. And so Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, there are a lot of great examples out there, great choices. I tend to recommend Coinbase for people that are new because it's very user-friendly. It's a very easy exchange. Now, one thing that's important, Good Day, when I am saying this, I am saying the Coinbase exchange. There is also a Coinbase wallet. I do not recommend using the Coinbase wallet. That wallet stinks. But the Coinbase exchange is very good. And so, Good Day, first steps first, go look in to a centralized exchange because you're going to have to give them your information, sign up, everything of that nature. Then I would start thinking about where you want to store your crypto. And so, Good Day, if you're going for long-term storage, a hardware wallet is the best option. That's your long-term Fort Knox of security. Now, they cost money. Good Day, you can also get wallets that are less secure but are free. And those would be examples like MetaMask would be a great example of a free but extremely secure cryptocurrency wallet that runs on your computer or on your phone. But Ledger hardware wallets would be what I would highly recommend in the long term as your Fort Knox. So, Good Day, first steps first, get on getting a Coinbase account or exchange, and then we'll work our way up from there. But welcome, Good Day. Very glad to have you in the crypto journey. And I promise it's not as hard as it looks. Not at first. It's very intimidating at first. Very important one before I continue. The content in this podcast, thank you, Kukla. The content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes and is not intended to provide financial advice. Please consult with a financial professional before making investment decisions. Thank you, Kukla. I always try to just get off and rolling and forget about that. And it's such a silly thing, but apparently it's important that I say it. So very glad that that Kukla and Trish make certain I don't mess up. Thank you, guys. D Rambo, good morning. Deborah Muse Wolf, QQ, Zester. Back in the day, I bought a Trezor on eBay. Its security sticker was intact. When I plugged it into my computer, I got the message that it was secure. Okay to use or not? Thoughts? Deborah. What? Okay. And I totally get it. I was doing the same type of thing. First time I was looking at hardware wallets many, many years ago. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go search for them anyway. So I totally get that. You've got it now. It should be entirely secure, Deborah. That security check that occurs at the beginning of setting up a hardware wallet, Ledger has it, Trezor has it, most all of them have it. It's designed to be the ultimate block against any form of tampering. Above and beyond you knowing that the box was tamper-proof, sealed, and everything, your ultimate safeguard is supposed to be that security check. And Deborah Muse, what that security check does is it essentially verifies that everything on the device is working properly. It's generating its own code. It's not already preset with a code. It does not appear to have been tampered with in any form or fashion. It is a 99.9% likelihood, Deborah, that you are perfectly safe. But I know me personally, Deborah, I would probably be terrified. And so I understand your hesitance on it. It is 90%. Now I'll adjust my numbers. It's a 90% in my mind likelihood that you are perfectly fine. It is a 10% or less percent that there could be something wrong. Deborah, you're probably perfectly fine. Deborah, another thing you can do on that one is you can go ahead and generate the code on there, create a fresh wallet, and you could actually just put some money in there, Deborah, and see. That is another option to kind of test it. Place some money inside of it and see if the money's still sitting there a little while after. Deborah, I'm very positive you're safe, but I understand the concern. And so using that as an example, Good Day, make certain with them. And so, this was years ago. Deborah got one on eBay. Make certain, Good Day, go with, I've got a link in the description, or make certain that you're just getting it from the factory. No matter what hardware wallet you use, Trezor, Ledger, there's many of them. Most, from everything I've seen, they're all great. I just use Ledger because that's the one I've always used. And so that's the one I tend to recommend. But honestly, all I care about, Good Day and everyone, when it comes down to it, I just care that at some point, everyone has got their own crypto in self-custody hardware wallets. Don't really care what company made that self-custody hardware wallet. Just care that it's there, because that's really one of the big learning experiences of this new financial system. It is self-custody. It is no longer requiring a bank to be the one who holds your funds. It's no longer requiring a central bank to be the one who manages your monetary flow. But I don't think there's anything wrong. Really, Deborah, I really don't think there's anything wrong. That security check that occurs at the end is pretty much bulletproof. The only way that there could be anything that security check would not have gotten, Deborah, would have been if there was something that was, say, externally installed to your ledger. An example of this would be like, the ATM credit card swipe, the scan things that they use. And so they put this little module onto an ATM or onto a credit card scanner, and it steals everybody's credit card information. Something like that was little tiny. Maybe something like that could do something, but otherwise you really should be safe. That one's got me all off and rambling, Deborah. I'm going to have to think more and more on that. D. Rambo, Zester, I heard that BlackRock and a few others are buying up XRP now. Is this true? And your thoughts? D. Rambo, it is true. There are a variety of different financial firms, BlackRock being one of them, as well as a variety of different crypto companies and exchanges that are buying up large portions of XRP. D. Rambo, it's definitely an overall positive for us XRP holders, because more money is flowing in to the XRP space. But we don't really know exactly why. I would imagine that a lot of the buy up is on account of the massive amount of ETFs that are set to launch for XRP, and a belief that there's going to need to be a lot of OTC transactions. And so what OTC means, it means over the counter, which is honestly not helpful in the crypto space, but it also kind of is. And so what an OTC trade is essentially is it's when a company like BlackRock or a company like anybody who has a lot of a crypto, or anybody who has a lot of money and wants to buy a lot of crypto, could negotiate an over-the-counter deal. And so what this essentially ends up meaning is that companies like this can make giant sales and transactions. So I do believe that a lot of them are buying it up on account of the ETF announcements. There are other reasons. The XRP ledger is growing in terms of overall use. We've seen our first tokenized stocks appear on the XRP ledger, which is quite exciting for many in the traditional finance space. And really, we're seeing a massive push in terms of the tokenization of stocks at this point. We've talked about that for the past couple of weeks. SEC, NASDAQ, CFTC, everybody seems to be leaning towards the overall idea that tokenized stocks are about to become very much the norm. And so there have been a lot of positive ongoing things over at the XRP side that could also be the reason that all these companies are buying. But I believe that it's strongly based around maintaining and getting a portion of control over the circulating supply on account of the ETFs coming out. I think BlackRock believes a lot of money is going to flow into these XRP ETFs. The one outlier on this, D. Rambo, just as a little fun fact, Gemini is buying, BlackRock is buying, Vanguard is buying, Kraken is buying. Major, the largest holder on an exchange of crypto, a South Korean exchange, is buying in massive amounts on XRP, but one exchange is selling, and that exchange is Coinbase. And just fun fact there, no idea why, but Coinbase is massively liquidating its overall XRP holdings. They sold a massive amount in just a singular month, I believe in the month of July, a massive amount of their holdings. We are talking hundreds of millions of dollars of XRP. But everybody else is buying. And so D Rambo, take from that what you will. Why is Coinbase the only one selling? I don't know. Maybe they need the money. Could be a variety of reasons. But I'm curious about that one. It's very odd when you see everybody else buying it and you see, it's like if you saw everybody is running out of a building and one person's running in. You're wondering, what's up? What's happening? It's the same idea here, except everybody's running into the building and Coinbase is the only one running out of the building, which makes you really curious about what's going on. Why is everybody else piling on to the XRP boat, and yet Coinbase is trying to separate from that one? Not certain, but just a fun fact out there for anybody else to think on. If anybody has an idea, I've got a few thoughts on why, but I think it's just that they need the money. But that, or they're picking a different horse in this tokenization and cross-border transaction race. But we'll see. Be curious to see what everybody else thinks on that one. Good morning, Crazy Chester. Good morning. Deborah Muse Wolf. Okay, I'll just use my ledger. I bought that one from the company after I learned more about why that's important. I totally get that one, Deborah. I totally get it. And I really do think that you're fine. I really do. But I also just can't be certain. And uncertainty is, it would lead me towards anxiety. All right, D Rambo, follow-up. It worries me because BlackRock and others manipulate the stock market, so I just figured they would do the same to crypto. Absolutely, D Rambo. It is 100% a worry, and that actually brings me, and so I would like to come over here and we'll start talking a little bit about the news, because that brings me to today's news. Because, well, as of right now, markets are not looking good. Really. Overall, whole market is currently falling. We've got Bitcoin sitting at 112,000, XRP $2.86, Ethereum 4,173. And so our Groundhog Day of checking the markets for the past 2 weeks has well ended. And it ended by going down. And so Bitcoin has seen it hasn't had a great Monday. It really has not had a great Monday. Pretty much everything has started on just about every single crypto. It all started this morning. Very, 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 very early this morning. Everything started falling. We can go ahead. We can check our time. What was it? It was at 19:02 last night. 19:02, 19:02, 19:02. Oh, come on, computer. 19:02. Let's go ahead, get right in here. What time was it? Oh, a little bit. Oh, actually, yeah, 19:01. 19:01. And so Bitcoin started falling at 19:01 last night. And, well, everybody followed along because we see 19:01 on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin starts to fall. We come over to XRP. Same chart timeline. We see 19:02, less than 1 minute after XRP's price started to follow. And, well, why? And that's what leads me towards your question, D Rambo. Why? Because in the world of cryptocurrency, we've got these new big financial firms that are jumping in, and they've got enough capital to become whales. And what a whale is in the crypto world is someone who holds a large amount of a specific crypto. Essentially, the analogy here is that a whale is so big, they hold so much of a crypto that if they choose to start flopping around, well, they create waves that affect all of the holders. And so there's like a whole little chart that's been made up. It's silly. If you hold a really small amount, you're a plankton. You hold such a small amount of crypto that if you were to sell or buy, it just doesn't matter. And then there's a minnow, and that's someone who holds a little bit more of a crypto, a little bit more influence, but not really any. And it works its way up. It's a silly little thing, but it's what is used in the crypto world. And whales have been a problem in crypto since the beginning. They are the folks who believed in Bitcoin the earliest. They bought Bitcoin. They mined Bitcoin when it was extremely easy. They have massive amounts. They have a lot of money, but they're not wealthy financial firms. They're people who understand the technology. And what we have seen with those whales is that they play whale games. They make more money for themselves. And in doing so, we've already kind of had this influence. We've seen what the BlackRock of the world does already. We just saw it coming from a different source. And so I am worried about this, D. Rambo. I am worried about this because essentially we have two different groups of whales. We've got the ideologues who believe in crypto, believe in blockchain technology, and have been supporting it since the beginning. That's a large portion of whales. And now we have the new money whales who are pouring in the form of the BlackRocks and Vanguard and etc. And they're buying up massive amounts. This is going to give them the ability to manipulate the market. And many people are actually looking at this little crash that we have seen over the past 24 hours and questioning whether it was not a matter of whale activity. And so over the past less than 24 hours, we've had a fairly momentous little occurrence. We have seen the biggest long liquidation of the year. And so over $1 billion of long liquidations. And so remember, whenever we say a long liquidation, that means that these were people that were betting on the price of Bitcoin going up. They were betting on the price going up. And so what happens when the price starts to dramatically head downward? Well, their leveraged positions start to liquidate, resulting in the sale of all of their collateral, resulting in the sale of all of their leveraged shares or leveraged tokens or coins in this case. And so this was the largest one of the year, I believe, the largest long liquidation. We've seen, I believe, a longer short liquidation period a few months back, but the longest long liquidation of the year, setting a bearish new record for 2025. And so Bitcoin spooked the market into the final week of September with a return to 112,000. Bitcoin price action left much to be desired as traders forecast a retest of support closer to the $100,000 level. The dip liquidated over $1 billion of crypto longs. Fed Reserve and Chair Jerome Powell are still on the traders' radar. Everybody's still kind of worried about what the inflation data is going to say when it comes out soon. There are still promises of major announcements regarding Bitcoin from U.S. political establishment that have started circulating online. Something coming from the Trump administration or the SEC, it would seem. And profitability data follows previous bull markets as pre-euphoria hints at an upcoming bull market top. And so overall, essentially, what we have seen in terms of it is that we are continuing to receive fairly positive information. And yet we saw a rapid fire sale and a rapid fire set of liquidations. And so what many people will say during times like this is that what caused this to occur, what caused Bitcoin to at 1901 suddenly start to fall, what people regularly will claim, D. Rambo, is that what occurs is these whales, the BlackRocks, the crypto whales, what they do is they go in because remember, they can actually influence the price. They have enough Bitcoin, especially when they work together. And so many people will say that whales work in pods. Pods, the scientific term for a family of whales. And so whales in the financial or crypto space will work together in order to have more influence over a price movement. And many people in situations like this will say that's what happened. And so what the whales did in this hypothetical, I can't prove that this is what happened, of course, but at least I can't prove it right now. I could probably with some time. But so what people will say is that the whales went in and they took massive short positions. And so they said, okay, look at this. We see some weakness in the market. There's a lot of people who took long positions. And so there's a lot of people betting on the market going up. There's $1 billion on the line betting the market's going up. What we're going to do is we're all going to bet that the market's going to go down, and then we're going to make the market go down. And so all of the whales go in, they find a weak point in the overall market, like last night, and they say, bam, everybody take out a short position and then start selling Bitcoin. And so they take a short position, they start selling their Bitcoin. They could potentially be selling at prices they don't want to sell at, but it's because they don't plan on not buying it back. They're going to have that Bitcoin back. They're selling it in order to make their short position profitable. And so they start shorting. They start selling. The price starts going down. The liquidations on longs start to occur, which accelerates the downward trend of the overall price. It accelerates because more and more liquidations are occurring, more and more and more and more and more sales. And so the whales essentially are using the leverage as a lever. The whales are starting the snowball. They're taking a short position and they're starting to sell a little bit of Bitcoin. They're pushing the ball down the mountain, and it's just tiny little ball, tiny little snowball. They're pushing it down, and then the liquidations turn that snowball into an avalanche. And now that short position they took has just netted thousands of % returns because they managed to create a massive drop that is disproportionate to their actual effect by essentially taking advantage of the leveraged traders. And so there is no way to prove that that's exactly what happened last night. But in situations like this, I very regularly think that that is a major cause of it. And D. Rambo, this goes directly to your question because we're getting more and more waves. And that means things like this are more and more likely to be blamed on whales, whether it's them or not. But it does seem suspicious when you don't have any type of data points to look at, and yet you're seeing a market react in that way. It makes you question. And so, D. Rambo, I would not be surprised if that's not exactly what happened. Do I think it was BlackRock? I don't know. But it is a worry, and it is something that we've had to experience already in the crypto space. Musical Lady, I have this feeling from the news I'm seeing that the tide is turning towards XRP with ETFs coming in fast. I think so as well. Musical Lady. I'm feeling more and more bullish about a pretty major XRP move coming in the next couple of months. I'm feeling more and more and more confident that we're going to see that little bit of a push. I don't know how confident I am about saying what type of number we can achieve, but I think we're going to break our $3 range at some point in the next couple of months. And if we see the amount of money that's possible flow into these ETFs, I mean, sky's the limit. Crypto Ward, I tried to help XRP and bought some in the little flash crash last night. Nice, Crypto. Getting a little bit of a sale on some XRP. All right. Yes. Silver is hanging in there, 44.08. Holy moly. Yes, GG. Gold and silver. You can definitely see, I think we are seeing a major shift in the world happen in real time. We are seeing precious metals, natural resources, and cryptocurrency really accelerating in terms of its overall growth. And I think that it's because they're both coming together. I think essentially precious metals and cryptocurrency are currently on a path to smashing together. And that's why we're seeing a very similar thing occur. But I think that the precious metals are going up because of how important they're going to be in their tokenized forms. But we will see, GG. I'm very happy about my silver holdings, though, over the past months. I just wish I had more. All right. I agree. Yeah, D-Ram, I agree. Zester, they want more people to dump so they can buy. Other crypto news I heard is that actual price of XRP is over 3,000, but just showing us under 3 now. Oh, man. I sure hope so on $3,000, D-Rambo. But the biggest question that has to be answered for me on the really high price tags, it comes down to XRP's circulating supply. This is my big question right here. is my big dang question when it comes down to some of the price targets for XRP. Because the way that these really high price targets are achieved is if this number goes down. We need this total supply number, the max supply, the total supply. We need this number to go down. We need the amount of XRP that will ever be in existence to be lower than it currently is. And so the burn rate becomes extremely important in that fashion, D. Rambo. And also the escrow releases and the escrow withdrawals that occur monthly that go to the XRP team. Those are very, very important in that regard. I want it to be $3,000, but I think, D. Rambo, before we're going to be able to start talking about really high price tags, we need an answer here. We need an answer here. We need there to be less XRP, essentially. And there are many ways that that can occur. Many, many ways that that can occur. Captain Spiffy, can I use my crypto to open my Gemini card? You can deposit crypto to your Gemini account, Captain Spiffy. You also can just get the card, though. You don't have to pay anything or do anything. It's just a little approval process. Mine was a little bit harder because I had an address discrepancy from my move from North Carolina. But for most folks, it's like instantaneous. How fast you immediately get access to your digital form of the Gemini card. I don't have my physical one yet, though. But you can deposit crypto. You can pay your credit balance by selling crypto. Crazy Chester Militiaman said that Iraq will be using HBAR for their transactions. Hedera Hashgraph. HBAR is an extremely interesting cryptocurrency. One that I slept on for a long time. I bought some a couple years back and really should have been buying it earlier. But I'm not certain on that one. I'm not certain. I'll have to have a talk with Militiaman on it and talk about why HBAR. HBAR absolutely could do it. Hedera Hashgraph is working towards that avenue. They're working toward that functionality. They absolutely could. That would be interesting, Crazy Chester. And I do think that we're going to see countries and central banks partner with different crypto companies. And it's not necessarily going to mean because that's going to be the only one. I think you're going to see a lot of variety. You're going to see diversity in the crypto space. You're going to have multiple crypto tokens or ecosystems that essentially can do the same things or similar things. And so I could absolutely see how that would be doable, Crazy Chester. I'll have to give Militiaman a chat. Maybe Militiaman and I can have a crypto podcast at some point and talk a little bit about that one. Crazy Chester, at what point will the XRP burn rate start to impact the price? Crazy Chester, when the burn rate exceeds the release rate. And so every single month, D. Rambo, some of this total supply, notice the circulating supply is 59,770,000,000. Well, the total supply is 99,985,000,000, etc. Well, every month, about 1 billion tokens are released, and they move into this circulating supply number. Now, many of those tokens are then relocked because XRP doesn't need to sell them for operational expenses. They don't need to, and so they'll relock them. And so it's not always 1 billion whole tokens. A billion tokens are unlocked, and then maybe half of them are relocked, whatever. But essentially, Crazy Chester, we're going to start to see far more crazier impact on the price when the burn rate exceeds the release rate. While you're continually having new currency enter the market, you're going to continue to experience what? Inflation. And so we are essentially watching XRP battle its own inflation. The burn rate is being outdone by the inflation rate. It's inflating faster than it's burning. And so in that regard, D. Rambo, that will be, Crazy Chester, that will be the ultimate move in terms of it affecting the price. D. Rambo, definitely. Zester, you want me to send you the link to the man talking about that XRP? Definitely do. Definitely do. And all right, guys, I saw the time. I got chatting. Let me go over I do have one thing. I have gone ahead and I have done another post over on Substack. And so on Friday, I had posted the one talking about all of the different real world of examples of how close we are towards capitalism 2.0 or blockchain 2.0, which is very, very similar, or all of the different characteristics of the quantum financial system. For this one that I put up there, this one goes back to some of the first questions that I had essentially asked, and that was based around, well, what's the difference between the proposed QFS and the current blockchain? And so this actually goes through and it breaks down what has been proposed in regards to the quantum financial system and what already exists in the realm of blockchain technology. So this is a fairly short one. This is a very, very simple little article / breakdown here, just going through the similarities to blockchain / crypto. And I will go ahead and toss that link for anyone who wants access to that. I'm going to keep putting up my different breakdowns over there on Substack. That way people can take my research, can take all of that stuff together, and you can run off and use it, share it, go through it and read it, see what you don't like about it, or see what part. Also remember, these current articles are going up, not necessarily my exact opinion. This is my conversation back and forth with artificial intelligence. And so please keep that in mind as you're reading through it. Just because I've noticed there's word choices that I wouldn't use. There's a few situations of that nature. Grammatical choices I would never make. Just as a heads up as you're going through it. This was just that back and forth that I had with it, and another interesting little part of it. So got that one up there over on Substack, and then wanted to show everyone the photo of the very, very, very cool shirt that Kukla has put together. I know she's working on another one also, but I am very much looking forward to this one. A very, very cool shirt, and definitely going to be proud to wear that around town and to represent. We got to remember, we need thousands of Charlie. We need thousands more Charlies. We need millions more Charlies. And so with all of that, thank you guys so much for joining. Sorry, this one was a little bit of a shorter one. We just don't have so much crazy news. Really, all the news was just based around, well, the price is currently going down. And why? And that very often is the case whenever things like this occur, because, well, there's no one to blame. And we really hate when something happens. Humans hate this in everything. But people that are in any form of investment really, really, really hate it. We hate when we can't pin the tail on the culprit. We hate it. We absolutely, everybody hates it because it drives you nuts. You can't invest logically if you can't figure out what is affecting the market. And so in a situation like this, you're definitely going to see a lot of uncertainty floating around from a lot of crypto holders because, well, it's not only that the price is going down, it's that they don't have a solid reason to blame. And so it'll be interesting to see how we recover throughout the week. I have a feeling that we're going to see a little bit more. We'll probably have a bump up from this, and then we'll probably see another bit of a retest of some lower lows on account of it. But hey, we will all find out together. And so love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Everybody have an amazing, amazing week, and come back and join me on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be right here ready to answer questions and talk about everything going on in the crypto world. So once again, love you guys and have a great one.